Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here, back at you with What Did We Learn Raw review. I'm sorry this is coming really late, guys. I just had to do something, job stuff that I had to work on. So these Raw reviews, I may or may not do a face cam for them. Once I get my studio set up, it'll be a lot easier to do face cam along with the microphone. So once that's all set up, I will definitely be on face cam. But for now, it's going to have to be like this. I'm sorry, guys, but you know, along with doing a lot of stuff for the podcast, for the charge, along with the gimmick cast, along with this, it's just a lot of stuff to do, but we'll pull through it. And I promise, guys, there will be face cam as soon as possible. As soon as I get everything all set up, it'll be like it's always been, maybe even better. I think it will be better, but that's besides the point. You guys are here to learn about what did we learn about Raw. And you guys, November 13th, it's the go home show before Survivor Series. The teams have been all set, or have they? Today we found out a couple of new things. We found out through the weekend, through social media, through the Raw Twitter, not Raw Twitter, but the WWE Twitter, telling us that John Cena is going to be the member of SmackDown. Of course, you know, the last time we saw him, he was fighting on Raw, so it's just a little bit confusing, but we'll just go through the two things that we'll talk about here, because otherwise this show really didn't do anything as a go-home show. If you guys noticed, and if you guys pay attention to Raw, usually the go-home shows the week before the pay-per-views don't really do it justice. And it's really the pay-per-views are now the go-home shows for the opening angle of Monday Night Raw for next week. Or the days after, you know, after the pay-per-view. But, you know, this is just so bad. Like, WWE has really blundered this. There's been a lot of changes to the card that didn't need to be made. They're, you know, not saying that they need, I mean, some of them did just need to be made, but they needed to have been made a long time ago, so it made sense for storyline purposes. Right now, it just feels like you're just throwing a bunch of things in, and you see if it sticks, if the fans like it, you're like, okay, we'll keep it. If the fans don't like it, or if, you know, it's a heel versus heel or something like that, where you're questioning like the logical booking, then you're just taking it out and putting someone else in. This needs to stop, WWE, and this is why I think the theme of WWE 2017 is really short-term booking. Is just not okay, guys. Short-term booking is definitely the detriment to SmackDown. SmackDown and Raw. It's just the detriment of the product. It makes no sense why you're doing these short-term bookings, short-term storylines. It just doesn't make any sense, guys. Make sure that you know what you're doing, because really, I'm not getting a sense of I'm excited for SummerSlam. Look at me, just not even talk right. But Survivor Series. No one is excited for Survivor Series. I mean, a lot of the people online, you know, the casuals or the people that just follow WWE like they're a religion, you know, they'll say, oh, this is great. You know, you're getting the Shield versus the New Day. You're getting Triple H in the match now, which we'll talk about later. You're getting AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. Another thing we'll talk about in a little bit. Not that much, but, you know, this is just the things that just make me upset with the product. And we'll just talk about it later but later in the show. You know, I'm not excited for it, guys. You shouldn't be excited for mediocre product. It's honestly mediocre. If you guys look at the card and look at what today's go home show was, it was mediocre. It was less than mediocre. It was terrible. It wasn't one of those go-home shows where I'm like, wow, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what happens at Survivor Series. No, it's not like that at all, guys. If you feel like that, I'm sorry, but you need to reevaluate and reassess and need to look back at the Raws that lead up to the Summers. I keep calling it SummerSlam. It's Survivor Series. When will I get that through my head? But anyway, before I rant about that, you just need to look at it and look at the shows before. You know, they weren't really building up to it. Nothing really happened at the UK shows other than some title changes. But you guys, this show is going to be so bad. It's like Wrestle Kingdom is going to be really good, but then WWE Survivor Series and leading on to WrestleMania 34, I'm just concerned, and, you know, we should be concerned and we should be alarmed at how lazy this seems. I don't know about you guys, but let's just talk about it. So if you guys don't know, Jason Jordan had a match against Bray Wyatt today. A lot of people were questioning Jason Jordan getting picked for the Raw Survivor Series team for the traditional 5-on-5 match. Of course, people were a little curious. They were a little skeptical, wondering if this was going to be something where, pushing Jason Jordan to the moon or going to get another Roman Reigns thing. And basically, I think WWE, they correlated these things where it's just low ratings to Jason Jordan. It's not Jason Jordan, WWE. Jason Jordan is not really doing anything. Obviously, he's not getting over with the crowd, which is an obvious statement. I mean, anyone could have told you that. Anyone could have told you that would have failed, and you should have kept him with American Alpha, with Chad Gable, but instead you decided, you know what, let's just take a chance with Jason Jordan, having him be the son, or, is he the son? That's really the big question. But you really brought the storyline where you said that Kurt Angle is basically Jason Jordan's dad. So you kind of cuff him in a way that it's like he can't get past that in terms of booking, because everyone's going to know that, hey, that's Kurt Angle's son. So he's basically screwed for life because he doesn't really have a personality. His charisma is not very good. Of course, he's a great wrestler. He's got great moves, but he's better in a tag team with a person like Chad Gable and American Alpha. I just think that act works so much better, but you built it the wrong way, and you decided, you know what, American Alpha isn't working. Let's separate Jason Jordan. We like his look. We like his build. We like everything about him. He just screams WWE guy. But WWE fails to realize, I don't know, they need to, send these guys to house shows or what, but they just don't do the research. I don't think WWE does the research enough to realize that these guys are not going to get over. Excuse me as I take a sip. But he's not getting over with the crowd. The crowd's booing him. The crowd is cheering when he gets injured or hurt. That is the sign for you that he has failed as a WWE experimental thing where you want him to be a main guy or, one of the top or mid-card guys. It's just not going to work because you force-fed him instead of trying to build him up properly, go through the ranks. You just pushed him to the moon. You put him on the Survivor Series team that no one was excited for, and a guy that just looks so out of place. And that's not to say that the next guy that came out, so, he has a match with Bray Wyatt, as I was talking about earlier before I went on that tangent, had a match against Bray Wyatt, gets injured by Bray Wyatt, because I think Bray Wyatt attacked him after the match. I think, Jason Jordan won. Bray Wyatt attacked him after the match. He's got a bum knee. So, Kurt Angle's thinking, you know what, you're not able to compete. We got to, I can't put you on the team, man. It just can't happen. It's one of those things where, you get cut from the team because of an injury. You have to live and die as a WWE superstar. Injuries happen. And of course, this led to Kurt Angle coming out in the middle of the ring after he had his backstage segment with Jason Jordan. Kurt Angle's like, you know what, this is a tough decision, but, Jason Jordan, you're going to have to be kicked off the team. Of course, Jason Jordan comes out crying, sobbing, very poorly acted. I mean, I could see that there's some emotion in it because it's probably true. He probably felt that way in some aspects in terms of this is like my only shot, because if I don't get this shot again, basically I'm not getting it ever. He's obviously failed as an experiment of WWE, so he's not going to get the chance again. It's almost kind of like the Jinder thing. If you didn't take your shot with Jinder, he's not going to get it again. So, they forced it with the Jinder thing, but they're not forcing it here with Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan's crying to his dad. He's like, Dad, please don't cut me. I'm good. I'm going to be good for Sunday. I'm going to be good. Stephanie comes out telling him, you better tell him the news of what we're doing. And then basically, after all that happened, who else but Triple H? Triple H's music hits. The crowd's going bananas. The crowd's going wild. And, he's talking to Kurt Angle, grabs his mic, and he's like, you know what? If you're not going to do it, I'll do it for you. The fifth member of Raw is me. The crowd erupts. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, again, you are taking another opportunity from a superstar. This could easily go to someone else. You guys do this every time. You need to learn that WWE needs to realize, as I say it like multiple times, but they need to understand that they can't do this with Triple H. I mean, I understand Triple H is a big name. It'll bring people in the seats, but is that really what we're doing, WWE? We have to bring in an old-timer. We have to bring in a part-timer to do a job that you should really give your 365 days a week workers. You're giving it to a guy that's part-time and is the running NXT. Let him run NXT and let him do his thing. But instead, you're cuffing him and you're forcing him to do something that I don't think he really should be involved in. It's one of those things where I don't see a reason why Triple H is there. Triple H is there just to draw a name and to put asses in seats, which is just a lame ass excuse in my part. It's just lame that he's in here in this match. He didn't deserve it. I mean, there's many superstars. Elias, I mean, he's done some great, amazing work. You could have put him in. I'm trying to think who else you could put in. I mean, honestly, Matt Hardy you could have put in. I would have honestly loved to see Matt Hardy. He's still a full-time worker. If he wasn't a full-time worker, then I would probably be reluctant to put him in there. But Matt Hardy's a full-time worker. You could put him in. I mean, there's a lot of guys you could have put in WWE, but instead you put in the part-timer, the guy that almost runs the company at this point, needs to take creative control of the company. Please, Triple H, please put it in the NXT direction because I think that works a lot better. But Triple H gets announced, the crowd's going wild, but in my head, I'm just thinking, this Survivor Series build fucking sucks. This Survivor Series build up, the Survivor Series lead up is complete ass. I'm sorry, guys. There's no easy way to put it. It's not good. It's definitely terrible. And this is really the only thing that we have to do for what do we learn Monday Night Raw. I'm just going to go on another couple minutes of a rant because this is just so stupid. I don't know what else to say, man. It's just one of those things that I wish WWE would do long-term booking, and I talked about it earlier in the show. It needs to be long-term booking. Long-term booking works. You guys have to do it, WWE. It makes more sense, and you build out a draw storyline. You put outline points. Okay, we want to do this, this, and this. We're going to hit this. Let's make sure we hit it by this week. You have to plan these out like months in advance because there's going to be injuries and you got to plan for those things. Short-term booking is when injuries happen. I understand because you can't control when a guy gets injured. You can't control when a guy has a freak accident. Of course you can't control that, but here you can control it. But instead of booking it the right way, instead of booking it to a point where we can get fascinating storylines, have open plot holes that you can revisit in the future, we get this garbage where it's just like, okay, you here. Okay, we don't like it. All right, let's switch it. You here. I just don't get it, WWE. I don't get it. It makes no sense. And like I said earlier in the show, no one is excited for Survivor Series. Only people that are excited are the hardcore fans, like the hardcore WWE fans. That's the only people that are excited for it, and the people that like to say WWE can do no wrong. But in my opinion, they did do wrong today. It wasn't a great go-home show. And just think about this. I had to go work, and I came back from work. Watching some of the highlights, you know what? I recorded it, and you know what I was doing during that whole time? I was fast-forwarding because none of it was really that interesting. None of it made me wonder, oh, wow, I have to sit down for this Monday Night Raw because if I miss one segment, I'm going to miss the entire thing, and I'm going to miss the entire build of what's going to happen. It didn't happen. I honestly said, you know what? Let me fast forward. And I barely even watched any of the matches. I mean, the only thing we learned also was that Bayley is now the last member of the team. So, of course, she's going to be part of the team. Wish they could have done something where it's like just, tension between Sasha Banks and Bayley. But, that's for another day, another time. But going back to this Jason Jordan thing, this was like the big thing. You have John Cena, who's on SmackDown. Apparently, Stephanie brought that point up. So at least they mentioned it and at least they talked about it. But still, how do you not pick John Cena, who was on your team or on your roster, and you don't put him on the team? I don't know. I don't know if it's favoritism. I don't know if Kurt Angle thinks that Jason Jordan's going to be like him at some point, but I think it's just a dumb move. Jason Jordan, of course, wasn't ready for it, and it proved tonight when he was kicked off the team, basically, for Triple H, a dude that's a part-timer and runs NXT. I mean, he's going to be a busy dude. I mean, he doesn't have time to do these matches anymore. He shouldn't be doing these matches. If you think about it, you should build and start up with new guys that come from NXT. You build them up the proper way. Triple H gives you the manual of how you should book them, and that's how you book them, man. I don't understand why it's that hard for WWE to understand that. I really wish it was that easy. It should be easy. Honestly, if you think about all the things that WWE has to do, I think that's like the easiest thing that they do. Make sure that young talent gets over because At some point, when you think about it, they reach in for the proverbial cookie jar where it's like, okay, we're going to bring out a Goldberg. Okay, we're going to bring out Triple H. We're going to bring out Undertaker. And then once those guys retire and are no longer wrestling and no longer want to do it, who do you have left? Nobody. I mean, the only guy you're probably going to have left in the future is Roman Reigns, but that's only one dude. I don't imagine this company doing this formula for so long. This formulaic booking and this storyline stuff, it only can last for so long. I mean, you've already used almost all the old timers. I mean, unless you want to use some jabronis or some job squads. I mean, maybe like lower mid-card guys. That's the only time or chance I think I'd ever see that happening. I mean, there's no more like perennial superstars. It's ridiculous. I don't know why WWE doesn't do this with the young talent, put them over, let them build up, let them be in a Survivor Series match. But instead, we're getting this garbage. I'm just tired of it, man. As you can tell by my yawn and multiple times in this video, this thing almost put me to sleep. This Raw was just so bad. And adding Triple H made it even worse in terms of booking wise. I just think Triple H has to not worry and focus about wrestling in WWE, but should be focused on NXT, making it it is the superior product out of Raw and SmackDown. NXT knows what it's doing, and War Games, especially because he's got to prepare for War Games on Saturday, you would think that he wouldn't be involved in this match because it's a lot to handle with wrestling, along with booking, along with War Games, making sure that runs properly without Kevin Dunn, who's probably going to screw it up at some point. Triple H has a great mind for the business, and instead of having him focus truly on NXT, raising the bar for WWE product, he has to worry about a Survivor Series match. It just doesn't make any sense to me, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of tonight's Raw. I thought it was pretty garbage, something I am not interested in, but I'm curious to see what you guys think. Let me know down below, and remember to catch our other stuff here on the Fusion Corp channel. We're on the path to 100 subscribers. We're there at 23 right now. Let's keep going, guys. I want us to get to 100, and I want to really get you guys, the guys who comment, involved in this process. Thanks to you guys commenting, we get a lot more looks at the channel, and we get more views, and that's what I want to see. I want to see this channel grow, and it's growing perfectly, guys, and I want to thank you for it. And I ranted a little bit before for Raw that it wasn't really a really Raw review like I usually do, but if you watch the show, you can understand why I didn't review it the normal way I usually do it. But it is what it is, guys. I just don't think Survivor Series is going to be that exciting. You're going to get your cool matches, Shield versus New Day, of course. But other than that, personally, I just don't see any hype in this this Survivor Series thing at all. I just don't see it. I mean, if you guys see it, let me know down below. But honestly, I'm not excited for it, and I hope something happens quick because it's going to be a long, long process, man, where we're just going to have to get to WrestleMania 34, and then we're going to have to do this process all over again. It's one of those things where it seems like it's a task and a chore to watch Monday Night Raw instead of an enjoyment, which is what they're claiming Raw is. And it's not, guys. I'm just tired of it. Let me know, like I said, down below what you guys thought of Raw, and what do you guys think of this Triple H added into Survivor Series instead of Jason Jordan? Was it a good move? Was it a new move? Who would you have put in as the fifth guy if it was not Triple H? Let me know down below. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie. Like I said, sorry no face cam, but at some point we will get it, and we'll get it better than ever. But anyway, guys, peace.